Good morning, everybody. So, as you know, we have seen monohybrid ratio and as well as dihybrid ratio. That's what dihybrid cross. So, yesterday I asked you to find the ratio, genotypic ratio of homozygous and as well as heterozygous plants. So if you have taken homozygous ratio, basically if you have taken dihybrid, phenotypic dihybrid ratio. So what is the phenotypic dihybrid ratio? Anybody? Phenotypic dihybrid ratio. Yes, sorry. Yesterday we have calculated. So phenotypic dihybrid,
9 is to 2 is to 3 is to
that is what 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. This is the phenotypic dihybrid ratio. So for this one, actually, Mr. Mendel allowed F1 generation for self-pollination, and he collected a number of plants around, that is what F2 generation, around 556 plants. 556 plants he has been observed. In that 556 plants, round and yellow seeds around 315, and he observed round and green. He observed 108. Next, wrinkled and yellow seeds. He observed 101. And wrinkled and green seeds, he observed 32. So, that is how the ratio came. 315 is to 108 is to 101 is to 32. So divide everything with the 32. Okay. So 108 is to 101 is to 32. So divide everything with the 32. Approximately this will come 1. This is approximately 3. This is approximately 3. And this is approximately 9. So that is how the ratio, the dihybrid ratio. But this ratio is actually what? Genotypic or phenotypic, everybody? This is genotypic ratio, phenotypic ratio. Means outer appearance. Outer appearance. So always keep it in mind, phenotypic ratio, we will write only a common appearance. We never specify either it is a heterozygous or it is a homozygous. That is the most important thing you have to remember it. So I hope you all are clear, everybody. This is how Mr. Mendel has been conducted his experiment. So F1, always remember parental generation, self-pollination or cross-pollination, parental generation. Parental generation always cross-pollination,
Cross-pollination.
and F1 generation always self-pollination, so that it will come. And then the genotypic ratio I have taught you yesterday, totally nine ratios we will get it. So what is that answer? 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 1 is to 4 is to 1 is to 2 is to 2 is to 1. Am I right? Many people they have done, but I don't know what about others. So if you have done correctly, you will get this one. So now once again I'm saying, keep it in mind. So the points which I'm going to speak now is the most important one. That is what? The differences between dominant and recessive alleles. Differences. Clear, everybody? So differences between dominant. If you know this one, this is enough to answer any question in this chapter. Dominant and recessive alleles. So what is the differences? Dominant allele first is, remember, dominant allele expression if you have taken. So expression, it will never depend on second pair of allele. So this allele decides the appearance of an organism. So the expression, the allele that decides the appearance of an organism, even though the second one is present. Is it depends or independent? Everybody? Yes, please. Dominant one, organism, even in the presence of what only? Alternative only. Do you understand, everyone? even though presence of an alternative allele. So it will never depend on, always alleles are present in pair. So it will never depend on the second one, which is either the same or dominant or recessive or doesn't matter. So the first itself, this allele itself will decide the character. It will never take second help. But recessive allele, if you have taken, what will happen? It can expresses itself only in the what? Everybody. No dominant allele. If it is a recessive, only it can express what, guys? Both must be what? Dominant or recessive? Yes, please. Itself only in the absence of dominant allele. Means both must be what? You all should speak simply sitting like a dumb fellow. What is going to happen? Of a dominant allele. So a recessive character will come only in the absence of dominance allele. So there is no dominant allele should be there. Both pair of allele should be what? Recessive one. Then only it can be expressed. Now, expression, that's fine. If it comes to the homozygous and heterozygous condition, this is the extremely important one where you can get it 100% in the exam. So you can see while you're practicing, you will practice definitely once it is over. So this is the extreme important thing. Everybody has to know. This is the third or fourth time I'm saying. Homozygous or heterozygous condition. Dominant one, dominant allele, it will be existed, it will produces its phenotype. How it will be? Only homozygous or heterozygous or both? Everybody? Yes, please. It will produces the phenotype. How, guys? Both only homozygous or heterozygous or in both? Everybody. Phenotype, appearance. Both in heterozygous and as well as in homozygous. So that is what it is existed in pure also and mixed also. That is what dominant will come. But recessive, what will happen, guys? It produces, hurry, it produces its phenotype only in what? Phenotypes. Only in what, guys? Yes, please. Only in
Homozygous.
yeah, homozygous condition. Remaining all, you please get out from the meeting. It's not necessary. You're all stupid fellows. I'm saying it. That is what. Next. So this is the most important thing. Next, representation. So representation, what will happen? Always dominant allele will represent with what? Capital or small or? Everybody. Capital. That is what we
Capital.
uppercase.
Capital.
And this one, it is a lowercase letters. Lowercase, we can say small letters. Okay, capital letters and small letter alphabets. So that is what. If suppose example, if it is a tall, will represent capital T. If it is a dwarf, will represent with what? Small t. So that is how we will be representing. Second is very important. So what is second, all of you? So any kind of character, you take anything, the phenotype in both heterozygous as well as in homozygous. So for example, tall plant. Capital T also, what is the phenotype? Anybody? What is the phenotype? Capital T. What is the phenotype? I'm asking. Tall. Understanding? So both are what it is? Homozygous or heterozygous? It is
Homozygous.
Homozygous.
capital T, small t. This is also will produce what? Tall only. So
Tall.
this is the what actually? Heterozygous.
Heterozygous.
That is the one I am speaking. So dominant allele can produces the phenotype either by homozygous allele or heterozygous. Whatever the condition, it will produces the phenotype. But recessive allele, if you have taken recessive allele, the phenotype is produced only, the genotype is what? Genotype is must be homozygous. Clear, everybody? All of you? So genotype is only what? It is homozygous. Means Only small t only will produce us what? Everybody? Dwarf. Purema. So no other possibility. Only homozygous will produce the phenotype of recessive allele, but dominant allele can be produced by homozygous genotype or heterozygous genotype. That is what it is. You have to remember. The most important thing. So you have to remember always what is the possible genotypes, what is the possible phenotypes before starting the question itself. Answer exactly what they are asking. So I asked Mr. Romer yesterday 2-3 questions. He wants to take the pen and solve. It is not going to work out. If the question is given, Mr. Omar, can you hear me? Based upon the question, you must able to answer in mind before writing in the pen. Writing with the
Yes, sir.
So if you have taken whatever it is, for example, in question they will ask you, write the genotype of yesterday's one will take dihybrid one. All of you see that. So dihybrid cross, letter them given. Hari option is take Hari. Dihybrid cross. If I take genotype of, they are asking genotype of round and yellow. Let me take it round and yellow. Homozygous. They are asking homozygous. So homozygous means both pure or impure. Everybody. Homozygous means what? Both are same. So that is what you have to remember. So round is a dominant or recessive? Round is a dominant or recessive? Everybody. Dominant. So single character, one pair of allele. So that capital R. Yellow is also dominant or recessive? Dominant. So
Dominant.
capital Y. Over. Is there any other possibility? They're asking homozygous. Homozygous means the only possibility is this one. No other possibilities will come. Am I right or wrong? Everybody? Yes, please. Simply they will ask you, write all genotypes of round and yellow. Simply they ask you round and yellow. Then what is the possibilities? Capital R, capital Y, capital R, small r, capital Y, capital R, capital Y, small y. Or next one is what? Capital R, capital Y, small y. So other than this, any other possibilities? Everybody? Because both are dominant. Round is also dominant. Yellow is also dominant. Round ரெண்டு possibilities இருக்கா. Capital R or capital R, small r. Yellow two possibilities இருக்கா. Capital Y or respond everybody. Capital Y, small. So other than this, is there any other possibilities? Anybody?
No, sir.
Yes, no other possibilities. So that is the what. When they ask you in exam, simply write all the genotypes of round and yellow. Then you have to write all. Keep it in mind. I know the students in, I think, last year before, who has written only one. I don't want to say the name, but they have written only one. They asked actually two possibilities are there of genotype. They written only one and they lost the 1 mark. If they ask you, suppose we are getting the second one, you can notice it. Round, yellow and round, we are having a two possibilities. So what is the, yellow and round? Sorry, ratio 2, what will come? Everyone, Harish, yesterday we have done correct. 1:2 is to 2, correct? Second one, what is the 2? It is, everyone, what is the 2, Ra? Hari? Yellow and wrinkled. So let me take, they ask you for example, yellow and wrinkled seeds. Write the genotype, possible genotypes of yellow and wrinkled seeds. So now see, yellow is a what? First you decide it. Yellow is a what? Dominant or recessive? Everybody. It is the dominant. Next, wrinkled is a what? Recessive or recessive. So wrinkled, and there is no another possibility. So only possibility is smaller. But yellow is a what? Rendu possibilities irukka. Capital Y or capital Y, small y.
Small y.
You are not taking notes, I know. I will throw you from here, you remember, if you are not taking and if you are not answering. Keep it in mind. No excuse at all. So now Possible genotypes, tell me guys. How many possible genotypes? Capital Y, small r, or what is the another possibilities? Everybody. Capital Y, small r, small r. So if you write any one, suppose I write this and I left it this, then they'll cut 1 mark. So is there any other possibilities? Any other possibilities? Round and wrinkle seeds. Speak loudly. Is it possible? No other possibilities. Do you understand? For example, they will ask you green and round seeds. Round and green seeds. Tell me fastly, what is the genotypes? How many will come? 1 or 2? Round and green seeds. Round and green seeds. Mind should say by this time. Round is a what? Dominant. Green is a what? Everybody. Recessive. Do you understand it? So recessive. So green. Only small y. Round. Rendu possibilities elika. Dominant. What is that? Capital R. Capital R. Smaller. Over. You can write. Capital R. Small y, capital R, small y. That is what. But this is a what? Hari, this is a homozygous. This is a homozygous. They will ask you only homozygous. You have to write this. If you write this, this is wrong. Sir, you said both. Can I write it? No. If they mention a word homozygous genotype, you should write only this. If you write both by this time, then also it is invalid. Only exactly what they are asking, you should write. If they ask you, write the heterozygous genotype of round and green. Heterozygous, understanding? Round and green. Then only this should come. This is homozygous. Why homozygous means both are pure. You can see capital RR, small yy. Capital RR is the down, both are capital letters and both this is small. So both are homozygous, but this is not homozygous. Capital R, small r. So based upon the question, you have to be very smart. Mind itself, we should know what is the possible genotypes. Otherwise, it is impossible to answer in the exam. Do you understand, Mr. Omar, what I'm saying? So we have to be very careful. Mr. Vijay, Pugal, understand? Harizeras, 5 mark compulsory question will come. So you have to be extra careful while you can see. You can ask me any question in the this heredity chapter. We will practice it. Okay, next either.
Yes, sir.
We practice many questions. I will teach you. By seeing the question, 5 marks compulsory must be there in our program. Always 5 mark question will be there from the heredity, either dihybrid cross or monohybrid cross. Definitely genotypes only they will ask you. Always keep it in mind. So this is what is about monohybrid and dihybrid cross. Now, what is the interpretation of Mendel's observation? That is the most important thing. So this is also they will ask you in the exam for 1 mark or 2 mark question. What is the interpretation of Mendel's observation? So after monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross, what is his interpretation and what laws he has been formed from his inheritance? That interpretation, that is what we are going to observe. So on the basis of results, analysis of the results of monohybrid plus dihybrid crosses, he has been made certain conclusions. That is also very important. So first thing, let us observe F1 generation. So F1 generation, only one trait is appearing or 2 traits are appearing? Everybody, F1 generation. F1 generation, only how many traits are appearing, guys?
Only
Single
one.
trade. What trade it is? Dominant one or recessive one? Entire things. Everybody.
Dominant.
Dominant one. So that is what you have to write. So in a monohybrid cross, write it. When a cross is made, what cross, guys? Self-pollination or cross-pollination? Parental generation.
Cross-pollination.
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 Cross is made between the contrasting characteristics of contrasting pair of a trade. Only how many characters coming, guys? Only one of the trade appears in what generation? Everyone? What generation appears? It is appears in the F1 generation. So F1 generation, only tall plants came. Do you check it, everybody? All of you, please respond. That is what. So that is the first conclusion. Next, second generation, the trade that was not present in the offspring, it is reappears in the which generation? Everybody, which is hidden in the first generation, it is again reappears in the F2 generation. That is what you have to remember. But here F1 generation, cross-pollination or self-pollination? Everybody, cross-pollination or self-pollination? F1 generation, everybody. F1 generation, he allowed for what, guys? Cross-pollination or self-pollination for getting the F2 generation?
Self-pollination.
Self-pollination.
The trait that was not present in the offspring of a particular cross in F1 generation, unless you practice your own, it is impossible to answer heredity question. But it is the easiest one if you understand. If not understand, exam, this is the toughest question I am saying. Many students throughout the India unable to touch this question because concept puriyal. That is the problem. Question understanding. You can see, I will show you the questions from Bangalore papers and all. You will understand how much it is complicated it is. That is what it is about monohybrid ratio. Two conclusions. Next, the same way. In dihybrid ratio, again, parental crossing. What is that? Cross-pollination or self-pollination? Everybody? Parental crossing always what? Everybody?
Cross-pollination.
Cross-pollination. So please remember. So hybrid cashew, when combination of contrasting pairs of, how many pairs? One pair or two pair? Dihybrid ratio. Contrasting pairs of how many? Two traits. Understanding? So two traits were taken together, but in F1 generation, how many pairs will come? How many traits? Only one variety came. Understanding, everybody? One variety. What is the variety? We got it in yellow and round seeds and green and wrinkle seed crossing. In F1 generation, all we got it what? Only round and F1 generation, guys. All round and yellow seeds only we got. Right or wrong? That is what. Variety of each trade appears in the F1 generation. So F1 generation, only one of the pair, one of the trade character it is appears. Then which is hidden in the F1 generation, it is reappears in the which generation? Everybody? Yes, please.
F2 generation.
F2 generation.
Okay, write it. The other variety means trade, variety of each trade reappearance in the F2 generation on the same lines of the dihybrid cross. That is what you have to remember. Next, the two new combinations of the contrasting pairs appears. What is the two new contrasting character? Have you seen? Different characters also we have got it. Am I correct or not? F2 generation, actually we must get what? Either round and yellow seeds, reverse you take. Yellow and round seeds, and second one is what? Green and wrinkled seeds. But along with these two, we got two new also. What is the two new we got? Hariseras, Mr. Vijay? We got it what? Everybody. Yellow and wrinkled seeds also we got it. And next one is what? Green and round seeds. So these two are what? Extra we got it in the F2 generation. That is what you have to remember. However, two new combination. What is the two new combination? Everyone? Actual combination should come the same thing. Yellow and round and green and wrinkle. But two new combinations we got it. What is the new combinations, everybody?
Yellow and wrinkled and green and round.
Yes. Now, from this, they will ask you one question. Anybody can make the question? They will ask you the question, right? Write the genotypes of a new combinations of F2 generation of dihybrid cross. Then, simply you have to write all possible genotypes of this one. They are not specified homozygous. They are simply saying, write all the genotypes of new combinations of F2 generation of dihybrid cross. So, what is the genotypes of round and yellow? Sorry, yellow and wrinkle. Wrinkle is a recessive one. Yellow is a dominant one. Either capital Y, or next one is what? Capital Y, small r, small r. Any problem? Anybody? Next, green and round. Green is the recessive one. Small y, round is the capital one. Capital R. Reverse you can take. R. Next one, small y, capital R, small r. Is there any other possibilities? Everybody? Any other possibilities? Harish, check it and tell me. No. So you have to write all this one. If you write this one, they will give you like half mark. That is what. So that is like that only they will ask the question. However, two new combinations of the two contrasting pairs. Two contrasting pairs of traits in the F2 generation also occurs. That is what you have to remember it. Okay. So anybody having any doubt, you can ask me. So this is the interpretation of Mendel's observation. If they ask you for 2 mark also, you have to write this all. I think they ask you 1 or 2 times. Somewhere in some exams, you will find it. So this is very, very important one. Are you clear, everybody? So the most important one is interpretations of Mendel's observation. So I hope you all understanding how to write it. Based upon the question, mind should say, always remember dominant one means two possibilities irukka, homozygous, heterozygous. Recessive means only possibility is one. What is that? Homozygous condition. Only homozygous condition for recessive, heterozygous condition and homozygous both for dominant. If you remember this, none can make you mistake in the exam. That's what I can say. Okay. So please make it. So write it. Next. This is what is about it. Next one. You will learn, you will by heart, I don't care, but you should learn this. That is what? Mendel's laws of inheritance. So the extremely important thing, definitely at least for 1 mark, many years they ask the question, what is the laws of Mendel's? That is what Mendel's laws of inheritance. So totally we are having a 3 laws. The 3 laws, I will give you the definition. So please write it and you learn or by heart, your choice, but you have to make it. First one. So one more word I want to say you. Recessive one, also we can call it as a suppressive character. Please note it. Suppressive characteristic, or we can say recessive characteristics. Clear, everyone? So now, first law, Mendel's, totally how many laws we have? 3 laws. Law number 1 is law of dominance. So, law of dominance. So, it is observed in F1 generation. So, what is happening actually? We are taking a 2 different contrasting characters, but in F1 generation only appearing how many characteristics? Everybody? Only 1 characteristics. Am I right or wrong? So when 2 alleles of contrasting expressions of a hereditary trait, if you brought together by fertilization, only 1 is expressed in the F1 generation. Remaining 1 is recessive. It is suppressed, means it is not visible in the F1 generation. So the character which is expressed in the F1 generation, call it as a what? Speak loudly. The character which is expressed in the F1 generation, call it as dominant character or expressive character, and the character that is not expressed, that is what repressed we can say, is called recessive or suppressive character. Once again, I'm saying, whenever the parents are crossing, undergo for whatever it is, one parent and second parent. So the whatever the babies we are getting in the F1 generation, only one character coming. Only one character is coming. Another one is disappears. It is not expressing in the F1 generation. So only one character is expressed. That character which is expressed is called as, what is to say, everybody? Dominant character which is disappear in the F1 generation is called recessive or suppressive. So what do you mean by law of dominance? That is only law of dominance. Clear, everybody? So the Mendel's first law of heredity, also we can say law of dominance. Note it, everybody. First law of heredity or inheritance, or we can say law of dominance. So what it will say is, write it. When two homozygous individuals, when two homozygous individuals Omar, are you there? Individuals with one or more set of contrasting characters. Law of dominance. Sorry, it is dihybrid cross or monohybrid cross. That's why I'm mentioning with one or more set of contrasting characteristics. So it is monohybrid or dihybrid, doesn't matter. So whatever it is, contrasting characteristics. Omar, I'm calling you. Contrasting characteristics are crossed. The characteristics.
Sir,
Yes, Omar. The characteristics that appear in the F1 hybrids. F1 hybrids are called as a what? Hurry. Dominant and that do not appear as. What will happen? Those that do not appearance. What is to call, guys? F1 generation. Everybody? Yes, please.
Recessive or suppressive?
Yes. Appraise in F1 generation are recessive. That is only call it as a law of dominance. Exam also they will ask you, you have to write exactly the same. And remember, recessive also we can say it is not expressed, not appearance. Also we can say repressed, or we can say not expressed. Ellame same da. That is what you have to remember. Anybody having any doubt, you can ask. This is what law of dominance. So next one, law of segregation. Law number 2, law of segregation. Okay. So what is this law of segregation? Let us see now. According to Mendel, you can see each organism that produces sexually by producing gametes. Gametes having two factors. What is the two factors? Actually, genes. According to gametes, every organism, if it is producing by sexually, so one single character, how many genes are present? Everybody, two factors are present. Factors means what? What is the meaning of factors? I said at the beginning itself. Factors means how many? What? Gene. Because by the time of Mendel, there is no word called as gene. Only he is used to word called it as a factor. So each organism that reproduces sexually by producing gametes, if you have taken, okay, male gamete and as well as female gamete, has two characters. That is what? Two factors or two genes for every character. For a single character, how many genes are present, everybody? Pair of genes. That is why I said genes are not present single. Always genes are present what? Pair. Understanding? So for representing one single character, for example, round. What is the genotype of round? Everybody, R or capital R? Everybody, capital R or only R? Yes, please. Please respond. Only R or capital R? Which is right? Only R is wrong.
Capital R.
Capital RR is round, not R. So a character, one single character is representing with the two factors. R is one factor, another R is another factor. So that is only we used to call it as a gene. So whatever the organism which is producing by sexual reproduction, definitely each character representing with how many gametes? Everybody, how many factors? Two factors, or we can say two genes. Genes are factors, both are same. So if you take these, one is inherited from the male parent and other is inherited from the female parent. If I take any character, if I receive anything, any character from my parents or you receive from your parents, one gene, if you take any one character in your body, one gene, actually the character contains one pair of genes. In that one pair, one gene will come from your father, one gene will come from your mother. That is what turn up into one pair. So these are alleles for a characteristics. Which one? The genes are factors. These are the alleles for characteristics. So if the alleles are similar, that is what we used to call it as. What we used to say? Everybody. If the alleles are similar, we used to call it as. Everyone. Homozygous condition. If alleles are not similar, what we used to say? It is. Alleles are different. Yes, please. If it is a different alleles, they are called it as a what? Everyone. It is